Okay, so I have this guess. What do I do with it? So with numbers, you can compare them in an if statement. So I put an if statement, parentheses around the thing that I'm checking, and then a block of code after that. If the thing in the parentheses is true, it does the code in between these two open and closed braces. So the thing I'm going to check is guess the same thing as the random number. Random num equals guess. Two equal signs, what the what? It matters in Java that you have two equal signs if you are comparing two numbers. So one equal sign, it takes the thing on the right and puts it into the thing on the left. It actually takes the value and assigns it inside. I don't want to put guess inside of random number. I want to say, are these two the same things? And the way I do that is using two equal signs. If statements and while statements both use this. So if these two things are the same, I want to do this block of code here. How about sys out they are the same? Now if it's not true, it'll just go on. What I could do is say, if it's not true, do this line of code as well. So system.out.println, they are not the same. Semicolon. $91, I'm going to guess 91. They are the same. Convenient of me to print out the random number. If I run this and I say 72, they are not the same. Now besides the equal than signs here, I could say less than, which is if the left side is less than the right side. Greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal to. Exclamation point equal is not equal to, so they are not the same. So I want to say if the random number is smaller than my guess, that I have guessed too high, and vice versa is too low. And then only if I get it right do I want to say that, congratulations, you have won. I'd actually like to continue reading in the line over and over again as well. So I want to do this stuff here over and over again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that, tab it over, and put in a while statement. A while statement is a loop that lets me do everything between these two braces over and over again while the thing in the parentheses is true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this integer guess and create it out here. Int guess equals, I don't know, -1. Notice that it's complaining here because I've already defined an int guess, and it's like, hey, you can't do that again. You can't create a new one. All I need to do is remove the type of thing so it doesn't redeclare space under the name guess. So I'm going to say, wow, guess is not equal to random num. And do this loop over and over again while that's not true. So if I run this, 95, 75, they're the same. What if I type 95? They're not the same. Notice because I had changed this to not equal to, that's why it said they are the same. It's because they are not equal, and I said they are the same. So that's something that is incorrect in my logic of how this is working. The program did exactly what I told it to do. So what I would like is something like less than, let's see, if my random number is less than my guess is too high. You guessed too high. I can put in another if statement here right after that, and it'll do one or the other of these two. So if random num is greater than guess, you guessed too low. And a final else statement, You guessed exactly right. It's almost like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So if this is true, it does this line and none of the rest of this. If it's not true, it'll check this one. And if that's not true, it'll finally go down here. So only one of these 3 lines will be done. So 78 was the number. 50, you guessed too low. Okay, what about 80? You guessed too high. 78, you guessed exactly right. Notice that it ended the program as well, so it's not still running. Because once this happens, guess and random number are the same. It goes off the end of this block, finishes the end of my program, and that's all there is. One other thing to notice that it saves every time I run the program. What it's doing is it's taking this Java file, converting it to machine code, and running that. So let's take a look at what all is going on inside of Guess Game project. That's actually going on in the workspace. So if I go look in workspace, there's Guess Game here. That's my project. Inside of Guess Game, there's a source and a bin. src is where my actual file is. If I open this up with, say, Notepad, there's my actual Java file I'm creating. In bin, there's this .class file. If I try and open this up, it looks like garbage. What is this stuff? This is the machine language that's actually being run. So it takes your file, creates class files, and runs those. And that's happening every time you run it. It takes all your Java files, saves them, creates class files out of them, and then runs that. So if I want to keep my projects around, I can either grab the whole project here, my whole workspace, or I can grab just the source file. Any of those will work because Eclipse will recompile it.